I've been up so long that I didn't realise what time it was. So I've been live on my other platforms. I've been live today on my counselling page on Facebook, Marianne Hanson Counselling Service. I've also been live on my other YouTube channel, Marianne Hanson Counselling Service. And I think, did I go live on my personal page? I did, yeah. I went live on my personal Facebook, which is also Marianne Hanson. So I thought I might as well go live on here as well. The only two places where I've got to get better at doing my live streams is on Instagram. I can't remember how long ago I went live on there, but it's not like somewhere that I do lives much. So this is not going to be too long, and I haven't sort of necessarily planned what I'm going to say, but I'm talking about obviously things that are coming up on social media quite a lot at the minute. So Angelina Jolie, this morning on one of the posts I was reading, says that America is unrecognizable, and she's the latest celebrity that is saying they're going to like leave. You've got Jay-Z and Beyonce talking about getting a property in the Cotswolds. They've already bought and put money down on something. You've got Rosie O'Donnell. I think she moved to, I don't know if she's in Canada or wherever. Lots of the American celebrities are looking at moving to, the countryside. I think Ellen, remember Ellen, the TV host, she moved to the countryside, and then she couldn't maintain all the farming and all the animals and all that stuff. I don't know what happened, whether she stayed or moved. But what's interesting is, like, it was the American public that voted Trump into power, and then even the normal people, the normal Americans are moaning. I don't know what they were expecting, but they knew what they were getting themselves into, and they still went ahead. And the worst part is people who were immigrants were voting for him. Black people were voting for him. Everyone was like saying, oh no, Kamala, yeah, she's going to be doing this, she's going to be doing this. And now you're in this mess because you voted for someone who you knew what he was like. What's the point in complaining about it and saying, oh, America's not the same anymore? Of course it's not the same, because you voted for a lunatic into power. You knew what he was all about. You knew what his policies were. You knew how he felt about different people. You knew how stupid he was. I mean, you only had to listen to a few of his speeches to know that he's got no intelligence. It was bad enough having to know that he came to England for a few hours. I mean, I don't know how long he was here for, because I didn't keep up with it, but I just saw that he was visiting the royal palace or whatever it was, and that his wife was wearing some crazy outfits. That's the most I heard about it when I switched on MSN. But yeah, I don't have a lot of sympathy, and I know that's not really nice. Loads of my friends on Facebook are American, and they're all saying things like, they're putting up prayers and things. And I'm not saying that everyone voted for him, because it's the same as in the UK. If we get some certain presidents, look at me, if we get certain politicians in power, it will be the majority, but there'll always be people who don't agree with that. But then, what can you do about it? You either have to leave, or you have to accept that, part of your country has to take responsibility for it because you voted him in. So that's all I want to say about Trump, because I don't want to spend too much time talking about him. He's not that important, not relevant. The other thing that's come up, a big thing, and this is not a major thing compared to other stuff, is I don't know what her surname is, Townsend, but I know her surname. I don't know what her first name is. So it's a Black American tennis player. So I follow tennis, but I don't follow the US Open or the French Open, just Wimbledon really. And so she won the US Open and everything was fine, except she did get into a bit of a spat with Ostapenko, which it's Ostapenko is her name. Ostapenko, in fact, I feel a bit sorry for her because she's quite like a miserable person, but that is just her personality. I remember watching Queen's tennis years ago. You're talking maybe 3 or 4 years ago, and this woman was just getting into a bad mood. She's banned her coach from sitting in the stands. She was like, I don't want to talk to him. She's always in a bad mood. Anyway, when Townsend, the black tennis player, won US Open, Ostapenko was over the net and screaming at her saying, you've got no class and you're not educated. And I don't know if it's because Townsend was celebrating in a particular way, or whether she just got on her nerves. For whatever reason, that happened. Anyway, I read that on Facebook. That's how I knew that happened. But then the latest controversy now is controversy. I can't even speak. Is that Townsend, this player, said something really negative apparently about Chinese, their food, and so she went to China. I don't know if she's in she's in a tournament at the minute. I know she's getting booed on when she comes on court by the Chinese crowd. So that's how I know she's got to be probably in China or in somewhere in Asia. So she went to China and she saw this food. There was like frog's legs. There was all sorts of things there that she probably doesn't understand. No one does. You know what I mean? No, you go to Vietnam, there's boiled crickets and things. You go to parts of Scotland and there's fried Mars bars. But you know what I mean? There's, if you think about the amount of like, you know, snails in France and all the rest of it. Hi, Melissa. I'm fine, thanks, Melissa. There's so many different foods that belong to different cultures that we don't understand, we don't get. Now, my dad is from Ghana, was my late dad. There's things from Ghana that I won't eat. My mum's from Jamaica and there's Jamaican foods that I won't eat. But one thing I'll tell you what I will never do is I would never go to a person's house in those countries or in any country, to be fair, or a person's restaurant and criticise their food openly. I'd probably do it in my head. I definitely wouldn't go on social media and be talking about how can people be eating this. I wouldn't be filming it. I wouldn't be saying what the hell is this or any of that stuff. And that's what she did. Her mistake wasn't to like not have a problem with the food. Thanks, Melissa. Her mistake was nothing to do with not liking the food. Her mistake was filming the food, criticising the food, talking about the food in a disrespectful way. And you should have saw the comments, even on Facebook. People are angry because what she has to understand is that that's someone's culture and their identity. And the other point is people who are like okay with it. If a European person or a white British player went to Africa or to the Caribbean and was disrespectful about certain foods, everyone would be calling them racist. Everyone would have a problem with it. No one would be okay with it. They wouldn't say, oh, well, they don't have to eat it if they don't want it. If that person was trying to say things like, oh, what is this crap? Or how can people eat that? Or look at the state, look at it. So I don't think she should be booed. I don't think that's like acceptable, but I can understand why people have got an issue. Oh, thanks, Melissa. Thanks for subscribing. Yeah, and I just don't understand why people think like in this day and age, you just got to be careful. It's like me. I'll come on here, obviously, and I'll say certain things. Hi, I'm Canary. It's just me giving like an opinion, but there's certain things you just got to have boundaries with. It's not even about being cancelled because it's not about, I'm not like, as in like celebrities, it's not about saying you can't be yourself. I think what she what she didn't understand or didn't get is that when you're in someone's home, you've got to respect their home. And I'm talking about that meaning like not literally in their home, but if you're in someone's country and you don't like something, just bite your tongue. I've traveled to so many countries where I've not liked certain things or how people are doing things. You know, there's certain places or situations I've been in where I thought, oh, this is a bit awkward, you know, or if, you know, maybe you're not religious, but you're going into a church and you're being asked to do certain things. Or maybe you just don't understand certain cultural traditions and you're being asked to do that. And that's happened to me a few times as well. I'm not going to be there arguing with the person or telling them your tradition is wrong or what you're doing is wrong. I'll keep that to myself. But it's about respect. Like all the people on the comments were just saying to her, it's about respect. They were saying it's nothing to do with the food. It's about respect. It's the fact that you posted. I think it's because she was posting on Instagram, and she was really cussing the food and really disrespecting it. And even though it might look like horrible food to her, it's their tradition. And what she's basically saying is that you're eating rubbish. So she's criticising them indirectly because she's saying if you eat all this, because the way she was talking about it was really bad. She's saying if you eat that, then something, you know, is wrong with you because look at what you're eating. It wasn't just wasn't in a respectful way. And the worst thing is she's tried to apologise now, but I don't think she can live it down. I think it's gone too far now. No, it's still not nice to be booing people when they come onto the court because I think that's taken it too far. but that just shows you that the level of like, for the Chinese crowd to be booing her means that she really has like crossed the line there. So that's Townsend. Hi, I'm Linda. So I just want to talk about the final T now. So we talked about Trump, we talked about Townsend, and now we're going to talk about Team GB. I've got to talk about this because I follow athletics. I've been watching athletics for a number of years. But yesterday was the Tokyo World Championships, and Team GB was set a small target. I mean, they get funded by the lottery, but be fair, athletics is not the biggest or the most, what's the word called, popular sport in the UK. You've got football definitely comes above it. Tennis would even be not like, I wouldn't even say tennis is up there. It's really football, rugby, cricket, maybe boxing, boxing, not really, I wouldn't say boxing, tennis, sort of. But anyway, the amount of money that goes into sports is dependent on a number of things. It's dependent on the amount of people that are interested in the sport. It starts at the grassroots, it starts at school. So if you can't get children interested in, for example, I don't know if we have many people that are going to be like at school saying, yeah, I want to be a golfer, or I want to play snooker. There is snooker players, but it's going to be more likely I want to be a footballer for the like boys, and for the girls, what do girls want to do with sports? I'm thinking, I don't even know, because do you know what I mean? Even with my nieces and nephews, I don't even know what sports are they into. Usually football. My niece is into basketball. She plays basketball, karate. The other one is netball. So yeah, you've got a mix. But basically, there's not lots of money that goes into athletics, but there's enough money that goes into athletics for us to have certain expectations. So because we did not too bad at the Olympics, there was obviously Keely got her gold, finally, Keely Hodgkinson in the 800 metres. You had some people that were expected to do well and they did well, other people that did okay. This time around, though, was abysmal. That's the only one I can think of. We got 5 medals, none of them gold. They were predicted to get between 8 to 10 medals was predicted, and even that's low. That's not even a high benchmark. But when you're predicted to get 8 to 10 medals and you end up with 5, you end up with no golds. There were people who was a surprise. It was like, okay, well, this person, Amy Hunt, she did brilliant. She got a silver. Now, the reason I'm going to big her up is because she was in a tough field of people. She was with Dina Asher-Smith, who is faster than her, or known to be. She beat Sharika Jackson from the Jamaica, and I was shocked by that. I didn't know that was coming. And so she came second, but she was not even being talked about. So I'll give her a lot of credit. Keely Hodgkinson would be disappointed because even though she hasn't raced a lot, that's what they were saying, and she wasn't expected. She was injured. That's what they're saying as well. I mean, she came third. Now for her, third bronze is just not even. And also she got beaten by her. Another British runner who wasn't even supposed to do as well as that. It was just poor all round. But do you know what was the saddest thing about the whole thing? It wasn't even the fact that all these people were just on the screen making excuses, talking about the weather, talking about this, talking about whatever, which is what they all do. And on Facebook today, on all of these Team GB groups and stuff, I follow most of them. Even people are just starting to say, the conditions were the same for everyone. It wasn't that. I think what surprised me, it didn't surprise me, but what happens every time is the interviews afterwards. Because the relay team, this is why most people are talking about them than anything else, because the relay was the last races, the last athletics races. So the men didn't even qualify. The 100-metre relay, the Great British male team did not qualify, and that hasn't happened in I don't know how long. I can't remember the men's relay not qualifying. Usually they're dropping the ban during the race, or they're getting beaten by the Italians. I remember that because that was like a controversy, that the fact that the Italian team just came from nowhere. The Italian team were not even known for relay, but they beat the British team. or usually the British team are up there with the Americans and the Jamaicans. Literally, it's just America, Jamaica, or Britain. They didn't even qualify, so that was one of the bigger things. But the female team was Dina Asher-Smith, Nita, what's her name? Daryl Nita, I think her name is. I think that's how you say her name. Amy Hunt, who's already won the silver in her discipline, and then there was one other person, and I can't remember the fourth member. Anyway, can't remember. She's a new addition to the team. So you got these 4 sprinters. They're up against obviously the usual Jamaica, and it was obviously Shelley and Fraser Price, her last race because she's retiring. So she wanted to do well. And then you've got the Americans. Now, we all know they were never going to win against the Americans, you know, because they just had the best lineup, and also they were just going to win. I think what was sad about the whole situation is Germany came from nowhere and Germany won. And the difficulty is when you have like a team of people, and I'm not saying that obviously anyone can win, because even Botswana won in the men. Now, they were known, they had one star in their whole team, or one person who was well known. But even people were talking about that on Facebook, saying that if you look at the size of the country, and if you look at the fact of the amount of they don't have as much money that goes into their athletics team, but then they still produced on the day, they still had belief, they still had the aggression. What was really telling was the interview after, because Dina Asher-Smith, now she hasn't been, what's the word called? She hasn't been delivering for like years. Now, I know that people are going to say something, but I don't mind her as a person, but as an athlete, I just think even other people were saying it, she gets so much like credit from the BBC. She gets so much advertising. I mean, she was on them yogurt adverts. Her name is everywhere, and her name should not be everywhere based on her performance, because to me, she's not that good. She hasn't shown that in delivering medals. She's always close, but no cigar. Now, the worst part about it is when you have a team who didn't even get a medal for the first time since 2002, that was the statistic. So 23 years we've been getting medals, and this is the first year we didn't get a medal. That is not the time to be putting on a performance in the interview. That's, I think, the reason why lots of people have got an issue, is some of the after interviews. Morgan Lake, another person, she does high jump, and she did her personal best a few months back, because I was watching that when she got to like 2 meters, or she got above 2 meters. She didn't do so well this time around, and she's like just generally doesn't know what's going on. She's just a happy person, but she could be anywhere. She's just what's the word called? She's it's not even to do with optimism or happiness, you know. It's to do with they don't have the sports aggression that you need. They don't have the anger. Now, anger not meaning that you're supposed to be angry, but when Dina Asher-Smith was doing, and people were talking about it, they've been on Facebook talking about it, she knew that the interviewer was going to start questioning what went wrong, and some of the questions the interviewer was saying is, why did this not happen, what went wrong? And Dina Asher-Smith then started doing the defensive thing, and then started piling on the over-optimistic, overly positive, smiling, and talking about how us ladies, oh, we all did well. Us ladies, you know, everyone was just like thinking, what's going on here? Did you all just watch what we watched? People would have had more respect if she said, we're not happy with our performance, but we're going to go and look back at what we did wrong, and we're going to work on it, and we're going to come back out here. And then in the Olympics for LA, when's the LA Olympics? Is that in 4 years? I don't know. When was the last? Yeah, anyway, for the next Olympics, we're going to go out there and we're going to smash it, or whatever it is. But you don't come out and start just talking that, oh, we all did a wonderful job, and we love working together, and we're a brilliant team, and no one's at fault. And the worst part about it is they didn't even believe what they were saying. They were all, someone at the back said to them to all say the same thing, because they all said the same thing. Yeah, we love working together. We did a brilliant job. When they walked off, because I studied body language, their faces said it all, because the smiles dropped, the mask dropped, and they were all looking like really like peed off. But they didn't want to come on camera and say, we messed up. because the last change of the baton was one of the issues that went wrong. At least they didn't drop it, so we got to say that. But they just didn't give what they were meant to give. The Germans shouldn't have even been in it. You know, so the point is, it's a shame, because I think a lot of people who are athletics fans, from what I've seen, you know, I wasn't saying too much in these conversations, but I've been reading some of it. There's a lot of backlash, and there's a lot of people saying that the lottery money shouldn't be given to it. I don't agree with that. I do think that it's hard to put money into a sport where there's not enough publicity for it, where there's not enough popularity. You can't make a sport popular. You know, you have to go to the Olympics and you have to win gold medals so people will get interested. When the people were BMX was introduced to Olympics and all sorts of other sports, it made children get interested in it, so that more funding gets into it, more people get advertised. But if you're going to be an athlete and you keep coming last, or you don't even medal, why is someone going to want to like sponsor you? And also, why are children going to say, yeah, I want to be her, or I want to be him? They're not. So I think it was just disappointing to just see the lackluster interview. I think I would have preferred it to, like, I don't want people beating themselves up. I know when I watch the Olympics, everyone keeps moaning because when I'm talking about the different sports, because I watch a bit of everything. The weightlifting girl, I think her name's Emily, that she's got like red hair. She always dyes her hair like different colours and things. She's got the spirit of like the Olympics. So I remember I was talking about her. When people are coming 6th and 7th, which is what happens a lot, and they're really happy about 6th or 7th place, and they're talking in such a like jovial way, to me, that is not having a sports attitude. There's not having that. You're not. If you get on the track and you're happy with like coming 6th or 7th, and then you're in that frame of mind when you go into train, you're not going to be looking for first or a gold, because your mindset is going to be like, oh, it's okay. And when you're saying things like, oh, well, I've enjoyed the day, you know, oh, well, I enjoyed working with these people, or, you know, I wasn't expected to medal anyway. That's not the attitude of a winner. So I think, hopefully I'll still always support the British athletes. I mean, obviously I support you're always going to support the people who are also, you know, known as the big players in the game, you know, so the Americans, the Jamaicans, some of the other athletes that are coming through, and anyone that is like, you can see they're doing their best, you're going to support. And I will still support the GB team, but it's going to be hard. Because there just needs to, everyone is saying on Facebook, really, what needs to happen is there just needs to be an overhaul of some of the coaches, what the coaches doing. Do they need to change up the training program? Do they need to bring new people in? Do they need, when you have the relay team who don't even qualify, and you've got winners in there, you know, of won medals, what's going on there if you can't even qualify for the final? That's a problem. But then when you get into the final and you don't even win, or you don't even win a medal, that's a problem as well. So something's happening that we don't know about, but we can't there's no excuses with injuries, with the weather. The weather was the biggest thing yesterday. I mean, it rains in England all the time, so we can't use the weather as an excuse. Most of those athletes are going to be training in the rain. What about people who are from like Africa and countries, countries where there isn't the rain? They're not training in the rain, they're training in the sunshine, and then the heat's a problem. They were not complaining about the weather. So it was just disappointing. It was just weird to see a post with 5 medals and none of them gold, and just 5 medals from a whole world championships. That means in the whole world, with all of the people that were competing, all of the smaller countries, all of the countries that don't have as much money to put into their athletics team, you could only pick up 5 medals. That's not good. So let's see what happens next. And let me, some people, I can see people on here. Linda, yeah, Melissa, and is it called Austin the landlady? I don't know what that, I can't read it properly. It's something like Austin the landlady, or land only, something like that. Yeah, so tell me what you guys think. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. It's just my little opinions on things. Um, you know, and yeah, I'll see, I'll have to see when the next championship is. I'll watch and then I'll see from there. But yeah, hopefully some of these young people that are looking up. I was going to become a 200-meter runner. I think I've mentioned it. And yeah, there's just not that. I don't know why it just wasn't appealing. It wasn't appealing. It was more to do with the training, really. I was a young person and I didn't want to think about getting up at like 6 o'clock in the morning, 5 in the morning, and then training before school and then training after school, then you training on weekends. That's what you have to do if you want to be an athlete. But I was thinking I probably would have got represented Jamaica because my mum's Jamaican. So I probably would have just represented the Jamaican team because maybe I would have probably got some medals. But yeah, let's just see what happens. It's not about criticising. Well, even though that's why it's coming across like it's about you're either in it or you're not in it. Don't go into like the sporting arena unless you're willing to come out like battered, bruised. You're willing to like just put all of your energy. I don't get the concept of like being really overly happy when you haven't achieved. Like it's better to just either say little in the interview or just hold yourself accountable. But I don't think like, yeah, and you can be proud of yourself as well, but I don't think like when you've done that type of performance that you should be, that's what peed most people off. I think had that interview and a few of the interviews not been so like, but where they were buzzing, then I think there wouldn't be so much people, there wouldn't be as much backlash. But the backlash is because I think there were like all the excuses about the weather and being like really happy when they haven't got a medal. So yeah, what do you guys think anyway? Let me know what you think. I'm going to end it there and I'll speak to you all soon. Have a good week and tell me what you think about anything that I've been talking about today. Thanks, Linda, Canary, Austin, I think it is, and Melissa and everyone else that joins. Take care. Have a good week.